Ghoulies is a 1985 horror movie directed by Luca Bersavici, and, despite its poor reception when first released, has received a cult following over the years. But what is Ghoulies all about? What even are Ghoulies? The movie starts with a satanic ritual. Some mad bastard called Malcolm, which doesn't sound very satanic, is spouting some Satan guff at some blokes in white bedsheets. We can tell he's a bit of a nutter due to his green glowing eyes, but also, because he looks and sounds like a bit of a nutter. It all seems like a right laugh until one of the cultists presents a baby for Malcolm to sacrifice. He's definitely not going to win Babysitter of the Year with those kind of antics. Luckily for the baby, he is saved by one of the cultists who isn't too keen on watching it meet a grisly demise at the hands of Old Green Eyes. She places some kind of magical amulet around his neck, which protects him from Uncle Malcolm's stabby ways. Meanwhile, some dodgy-looking fella takes the baby to safety, or so we assume, and the defiant lass in the bedsheets succumbs to a severe bout of heartburn. We fast forward a few decades later, and lo and behold, the baby is back, but this time in the form of a fully grown adult called Jonathan. Him and his girlfriend Rebecca have inherited the mansion where all the weird cult crap was happening, and vow to do the place up. Even the dodgy fella who saved baby Jonathan is there, but this time he has a beard, and a sad look on his face, like a puppy who's run out of slippers to chew on. When Jonathan explores the basement, he finds all of Malcolm's mad bastard satanic stuff, and gets hooked. He loves a bit of the old Satan. Spells and robes and pentagrams, the whole shebang. Rebecca and Jonathan hold a housewarming party and, for some strange reason, invite all of the most idiotic 80s stereotype meatheads they can find. It turns out these meatheads are actually their friends, and after a few drinks, and some flopping around, Jonathan invites them into the basement to show off his newfound satanic occult chalk skills. He tries to summon some demons by reading some ancient mumbo-jumbo, but it all goes tits up, and bugger all happens. What a twat. Little do his guests know, Jonathan has opened a portal to an evil world, and inadvertently invited some delightful little creatures. These creatures are called Ghoulies. See, I knew I'd get to the point eventually, and whoever summons them, Jonathan in this case, can control them to obey his commands. We have the toilet-dwelling snot goblin, who is surprisingly ripped for a demon from the beyond. The pubic rat. And the bat, hamster, thing. Jonathan is the only one who can see the Ghoulies, which is fortunate as these little bastards pop up everywhere. Under the bed. In a water fountain. On the end of another bed. They just love beds. After a bout of failed lovemaking, Jonathan decides to venture back into the basement, don his robes, and spout some more satanic hogwash. This time he summons two dwarves wearing little shiny helmets. I've no idea how or why, something to do with making all his wishes come true. By this time, Rebecca is pretty pissed off with his ritual nonsense, not to mention the crap lovemaking, but after some strange ass voodoo-like hex from the dwarves, with their little shiny helmets, she ends up resurrecting creepy Uncle Malcolm from his grave, with the help of the Ghoulies and the meathead friends. And there we have it. A bit of black magic, some weird little monsters, and a cast of deplorable assholes navigating the nuances of adult relationships. The acting, for the most part, does the job, but it's so over the top, which kind of works, and is kind of crap at the same time. The special effects are very low budget, especially the Ghoulies, which are essentially rubber hand puppets with some hair glued on. There's something adorable about them though, and I commend the late Cleve Hall, the man responsible for the makeup and special effects on the movie, for making a bunch of creatures that I actually enjoyed watching. My favorite, and by far the strangest scene in the movie, features the character Dick, and some mysterious woman he encounters in the hallway. After some unhygienic snogging, she proceeds to strangle him with her own tongue, in what can only be described as a hilarious death scene. A cautionary tale if ever there was one. I went into this movie knowing very little apart from that it was an attempt to capitalize on the success of the 1984 hit, Gremlins, released the previous year. Yeah, not quite. In fact, this B-movie can barely hold a candle to Gremlins. However, its macabre undertone, and often campy acting, set it apart, and it wasn't completely terrible. Give it a watch if you have a penchant for puppets, the occult, and flopping around. I have been HB, the horror bot, over and out. Cheers babes.